Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the spot. Our very hot subject today is suicide, and we have two special guests with us today, which is Miss Vanessa and Miss Irene. So earlier they were sharing how they actually got into this position where they want to help people. I'm your host, Wolof Paul, and
PG Narisalis. Well, Miss Irene, Miss Vanessa, I was doing a little bit of research and I found that there are some preventions / warning signs that we could take to help with suicide. I know that one of them was you have to know your facts. I mean, there's a lot of myths going around that suicide is only for adults, teens, and young adults do not commit suicide. Do you mind giving us a little bit more of the warning signs?
Of course. As I said before, we've come across cases where 4- and 5-year-old children have committed suicide. So I'll just give you some of the top warning signs. Depression is the #1 cause, So you want to watch your kids' parents. You want to just kind of watch their daily routine. Are they doing something out of the norm? Are they isolating themselves in their room? You also want to look at loss of appetite, not wanting to eat. When people are depressed, they tend to either eat a lot or not wanting to eat at all. Also, just being tired, fatigueness, loss of interest in things that they probably were interested in before. Friends, going out, hanging out, they don't want to do that anymore. Giving up valuable possessions, cars, money, jewelry. And sometimes most suicide victims will let you know. They'll talk about death and what it'll be like if they weren't here and things like that. So you want to take heed to these signs and you don't want to take it lightly. If someone says that they are suicidal, you want to act upon it as if that individual is about to attempt suicide that very moment. A lot of times we wait for the next day, and the next day is not promised when it comes to those individuals. As I said, 4-year-olds, you think about, how does a 4-year-old know how to kill themselves? How do they even get a gun or a rope and know what to do? TV and the society, shows these things. So you definitely want to pay attention to your kids. You definitely want to pay attention to your friends. And when someone says that they are suicidal, they're depressed, take heed and take action.
Also, pay attention to the elderly. A lot of people is not noticing, but the elderly, once they're retired and things like that, in the nursing homes, they're taking a lot of drugs to commit suicide. They're depressed. A lot of their friends and families have already passed away because of their age.
Right.
Kids that's not involved in their care and stuff like that. So even the young, but also, just be aware of your grandparents, parents, and things like that. Those people that are sick and things like that, that's going through different illnesses, be aware of those signs too with those individuals.
that's very great. One thing, can you tell me how the people can stop this suicide?
Well, like Vanessa said before, the direct where we come from is a spiritual aspect.
Right.
So showing them that a relationship with Christ and knowing their God-given purpose. When you know your purpose and what you're here on earth for, it gives you a reason to live. Setting goals and things like that, knowing that, tomorrow I need to do this and that and that. So setting goals and knowing your purpose in life. And the only way you can know that is through Jesus Christ.
Right.
I have a question. So if you have a family member or a close friend that's been planning on attempting suicide and you're aware of it, is there by any chance you can talk them out of it?
I would say, I'll elaborate on that. I would say if you're in a situation and someone says, I'm going to commit suicide, the first thing you want to do is call 911. You want to keep that person on the phone. If they're at your house or if they're in the car with you, you want to keep them with you. And the first thing you need to do, don't try to play a counselor at that moment. You definitely want to call your local officials, which is 911 or wherever you are in your city. After that, you want to help them get treatment. So you want to bring them, whether it can be church, if your church have counseling sessions, or look into the community. Like I said, on our website, we have different resources, spiritual resources that you can connect with, life groups, so on and so forth. You want to get them help after that. So like I said, you don't want to play counselor at that moment. You want to call your local officials and you want to get them immediate help.
And our website is anti-suicidejesusisteanswer.com.
That's very great. One question, Miss Irene. after you guys done all this, calling the police or praying with that person, how would that make you feel if actually after you've done all that and you've heard that person actually committed suicide?
Honestly, it'll honestly make me feel sad, to the point where when people online, when we read about different cases that commit suicide, like I talk to Vanessa all the time when we see a new case, and sometimes it's heartbreaking. Like we start crying. We start crying because this person had so much purpose. This person had a reason to live. This person had something ordained for them to do, and now
it's aborted.
That void is going to be there. And then so many family members are hurt because they feel like I should have knew, I should have done something, I should have said something. So it's so many questions left unsaid. My brother-in-law, one of his best friends, committed suicide, and till this day, like he battles with why didn't I see the signs, or why didn't I take heed when he was telling me he was depressed, or why didn't I go visit him more often? It's so many people that's hurt, that's left behind, and then at the same time, this person's void and purpose is going to be missing.
Does that become as a motivation for you to?
Yeah, it becomes a serious motivation for us to bring awareness, do shows like this, go in the community, go to churches, go to schools, go to universities. Yeah, into all the world, letting people know they have a purpose and a reason to live.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
It's very nice. Well, I have another quick question. I mean, sometimes, to me, in my opinion, I feel like parents don't really pay attention to the fact until it's too late.
Yeah.
Yes, we just went over the preventions, but sometimes they just, I know the preventions. My daughter or son will never commit suicide. They never really pay attention until they actually do it.
Yeah.
And when you come and you ask the fact, were you aware? No, or yes, we were aware, but it's too late. Like, is there like another way to like flesh this out to them a little bit so it could like stick with them?
Okay, I will speak to the parents, those that are viewing. The number one thing is to have a relationship with your child. When I was 16 years old, like I said, my mom was a single parent and she did the absolute best that she can. So I applaud my mom for everything that, she has done. But it was only so much that she could do. And growing up, me and my mom, we never really had that tight of a bond where I can say, Mom, I'm depressed. I'm going through an issue with my boyfriend. He just broke up with me. I'm going through issues with my friends. I don't feel like I have purpose. I didn't feel comfortable enough to speak to my mom, even though she would say, if you ever feel some sort of way, come and speak to me. But the relationship wasn't there. So parents, you want to build that relationship, especially when your child is young. I have a daughter now, and I just think about if I was ever in that predicament where when I was 16 years old, my daughter tried to commit suicide, I would be devastated as a parent. And so even now, my daughter's 2 months, but even now, you build that relationship. You let them know that they are important from a young age. You want to let them know that, baby, there's nothing in this world that you cannot speak to me about. And so you want to let them know that they can come to you and they can be comfortable and you won't judge them. Because a lot of youth, we suppress it and we hold it back. And like you said, it's too late because now we feel like there's no hope and we try to commit suicide. So you want to build that relationship, and it's not too late, no matter how old your child is. If they're 16, if they're an adult, because adults battle with it too. So you want to still build that relationship. It's never too late.
Yeah, and I have a niece and nephew, and one thing that I do is once a month we have date nights. So where I take my niece out one weekend, out to eat or to the movies or something like that, and the next weekend I take my nephew out, and we just talk about what they're going through, what's going on in their life and stuff like that. Parents, it's very important to have like date nights or outings with that specific child. If you have 4 or 5 kids, try to spread it out where you can individualize each child and spend some individual time with them, just letting them know they're important and you want to know what's going on with them.
And if I could just add one more thing, because I love what Elaine said, taking your child out, spending that one-on-one time, because I've come across a lot of cases where they're like, I have 5 siblings and I don't feel important. And sometimes parents are like, it's expensive, to try to take your child out. There are resources here. I thank God we live in the United States where we have so many resources. Like, for instance, our local libraries, they give out free passes to the museum, to the zoo and things like that, where you can spend that one-on-one time and build that relationship. So you also want to look online free things. Take your child to the park.
Yeah, it's
You know, a
actually a
picnic.
website, Free Things in Miami.
Yeah.
That's actually good. Thank you guys, and congratulations on that baby.
Thank you.
No problem. But what you guys said just actually made me think about earlier, where you say you actually gotten to the point where you attempt to commit suicide.
Right.
My thing is, how did you overcome that?
I would say the same thing, Irain. At that moment, I didn't really overcome it. I would just say it was the grace of God that the number of pills that I had taken, it didn't kill me or put me in a coma, because I should have been dead or in a coma. So I just thank God that, that I survived. But at that moment, I just continued to suppress it and live. So I was living, but I was dead on the inside. And it was, like I said, until I was 23 years old and I came in contact with Christ, and I found out, you know what, I am valuable. I'm placed here for a reason. I was born on purpose and for a purpose, and my purpose began to ignite passion in me and made me want to live. So when I got to those dark places, because even now we still go through dark places, we still go through moments where we want to be depressed, but I have something to live for. I have something to look forward to, and one of them being my beautiful daughter.
That's nice. That's nice.
A quick question. I'm just curious. You see how you're talking about you were in coma? I was wondering, how long were you in coma?
No, I said I could have been in a
Oh,
coma.
you could have been.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the number of pills that I had taken at 16 years old, I should have either been dead or in a coma.
Thank you guys.
Oh, thank you.
It's very nice to share your experiences, and thank you for coming.
Thank you for having
we
us.
actually
Yes,
want to
thank
thank you. All right.
We would like to thank our guests for being here with us today. It was a great pleasure to have this talk, and I hope it reaches out to all of you guys. We'll be taking a quick break. Stay tuned.